Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all having a fantastic day today wherever you are. We are going to be playing with a bunch of stuff that I got off of Wish. I've got a foundation, I got what is supposedly a Tarte Shape Tape concealer that I'm just going to do kind of my real one on one side and the Wish one on the other side. They are not the same shade. Just a heads up right now. That is something that with the products on Wish that you're not always going to find your shade. It's just not going to happen. I'm hoping that the foundation is going to be close. I have also a Bye Bye Redness that I had purchased from Wish. I do not have one that I purchased here, but I have used this actually several times, and a little goes a very, very, very long way. And so I have, if you can see over here, I have an owie. I scraped my head on something, kind of clumsy me, but I have an owie, and I would kind of like to cover that up. I used this, actually we went to a party at a friend's house last night, and I used this. I like dipped my finger in, like I had way too much. I had enough on like one little tip to cover up this, my chin, around my nose, just everything. So if this is legitimate, if this is just like the stuff here, if you know, if you have it, if you've tried it, let me know, because if this is a fake, it's amazing. I'm pretty shocked. Anyway, so I have already moisturized. I haven't primed yet. For a minute there, I thought that I would do like the Tarte water foundation. I'm gonna save that for another time because I actually have coming tomorrow from Phoera the water concealer. So might as well make it its own video. So we're gonna stick with mostly Wish items today. I'm gonna have some of my regular stuff in here because I do not have enough for a full face. I already had the Tarte primers out here, so I'm just gonna use those because I don't want to have to go back and forth. It's getting late in the day. I'm getting started pretty late on this today. So we're gonna jump right in and we're gonna see how the stuff goes. The first order is now we do the eyes. So I'm going to prime with my MAC Painterly Paint Pot, and then we are going to hop into comparing the Huda Beauty, probably one of the Obsessions palettes, to its counterpart that I purchased from Wish. So I'm going to prime my eyelids and I will be right back. Okay, eyelids are primed, and let's get into the dupes that I got for the Huda Beauty palettes from wish.com. So when I purchased them, they were free, and then I think the shipping was $2. Now the cost of the palette is $1 and the shipping is $1. So if you have any experience purchasing items on Wish, they'll do that. Like you can get the same thing from multiple different stores. You'll see the prices differ and you're like, well, how can this guy do it for free and this one's selling it for like $3? And the trick is look at the shipping cost, because you'll see free, just pay shipping. Shipping's $3. Next vendor is selling the same item. It's $2 for the product and shipping is $1. And so they're just the ones that are free, they're just taking it from the product price and putting it down in the shipping. So just kind of be aware of that if you're just trying to get stuff at the lowest possible price, because that's not always what you think it is. These here that I got, they all came in like this little outer unicarton, They were all wrapped in cellophane. They actually did a pretty good job. They made it here pretty safely. They were all in the same package. There was only one shadow that was broken. I've not done anything to kind of, you know, press it with rubbing alcohol or anything yet, because one, I've never tried that before. I'm not quite sure what to use to get into this tiny little palette to, you know, press it back down. And two, it's really not that big of a deal. My chances of actually using it are slim to none because I do have the real thing as well. So just to pop these up here side by side, we have which they have the little cellophane protector thingy. Here is this one is the Huda Beauty Obsessions Amethyst. So here's the Huda palette, and then here is the dupe. As you can see, the colors are not exactly the same. The pans are bigger. The palette, the dupe one, is bigger, but I don't know if you can see that on camera though, but the pans inside are tiny, whereas the Huda ones are filled all the way up. So this one is the amethyst. I got one for the ruby. I'll just pop each one of these up here side by side. So this one is ruby. So obviously Huda. Dupe from Wish. So here's this one. As you can tell, the colors don't quite look exactly the same, but as we've seen many times, what it looks like in the palette doesn't always translate the same way on the lid. I have several that look like they're light in the pan. I get it, and so like, oh, I'll use this for a transition shade. This will be awesome. And then I put it on and I'm like, holy mother of pigment. I guess there are worse things that could happen, but then you just blend, 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 blend. Makeup is fun. Anyway, okay, next one that I got is the Emerald Obsessions. So again, so we've got Huda here, dupe here. I have had the Emerald Obsessions for a while because of trying to perfect my mama hook look. Comes out different every time. One of these days I will come up with something that I actually like, and then maybe I'll show it all to you guys. But I have the emerald and then the sapphire specifically for trying to do that Seahawks look. And speaking of the sapphire, here is the sapphire. So Huda, dupe. Very, very similar in the color story. Slightly different with the shade, but we'll see how things look when we try them on the eyes. Now this next palette is the one that has the broken shadow in it, so I'm not quite sure how I can hold this up without making a massive disaster. So although this is the Huda Topaz, we'll just hold them up separately this time. So that's the Huda Topaz, and then this is the dupe with the broken shadow shade down here. So similar, but these are a lot brighter. So those are the 5 of these that you can get off of Wish. And then I also have a couple of dupes for her Rose Gold Remastered and the new Nudes. I already had the new Nudes, and when I ordered the dupes, I was like, huh, you know, I should get the Rose Gold Remastered palette so that I'll have it to compare between the two, because, you know, really have to talk myself into buying a $65 palette. Now, the only thing that is really kind of sad to say is that when I got it, I was underwhelmed at the real one. I was just like, really? This is $65? Because I like the new nudes. They're really, really pretty. They do have a lot of the chunky, glittery shadows that you need to use your finger with. So I don't use it as often as I probably should to justify the price. I think I got the new nudes on sale. I paid full price for the Rose Gold Remastered. But you do have to use your fingers. Oh, I did. That's what I've got all over the places. I've got a fan blowing because it's hot up here, and that busted shade, I think some fell out. Oops. That's okay. I got my brushes right here. That's why I'm like, ah, what's going on? Anyway, so the new Nudes palette, the dupe has a mirror in it. Which the dupes, they both came in these sleeves, so not really like a carton, but a sleeve. And what I do like is on the back of each, it gives you the manufacture date and the expiration date. It would be nice if they'd put it on the palette itself, because I don't know about you, but I don't typically keep these. And I did find earlier today that if you don't want to get these from Wish, these are actually also available on Amazon.com. I did not check to see if it was Prime or not. Anyway, I digress. So they call it the Aromas, and I think the brand is UCANBE, and Aromas is the name of the palette. It has a mirror. And as you can see, the mirror came cracked. Now it had a sheet protecting the shadows themselves, so I know no glass got into the shadow itself. And then I just took a couple strips of packing tape, so like real thick packing tape for like, you know, moving boxes, and put that over the top to keep the glass from getting into the shadows, because you don't want to put, you know, glass on your eyes. But then here is the real thing. And here's what the front looks like for the new nudes. And it does have this sheet that covers the shadows that I did keep that, but I didn't want to keep the other one because I didn't want to make a mistake and put, you know, like glass shards side down by mistake. But anyway, so here's the real one. Kind of gouged this one, and this has a concealer shade. This is actually a cream concealer that is in the palette to be used as a like if you want to do a cut crease. Now this one, so let's go put these up here side by side. This is super awkward, but here, we'll just go like this. So here is this is the real one, and this is, yeah, I got my fingers on both on the real one. Let's try this way. So dupe here and real one here. As you can tell, very similar, but absolutely not exactly the same, but we don't know how it'll translate once they get on the lids. And then to look at the one for the Rose Gold Remastered, the dupe is called Twilight Dusk palette. As you can tell, the brand is UCANBE. Yeah, they don't put the manufacturer and the expiration date on the product itself. It kind of drives me crazy, but not my choice. So this one does not have a mirror, so you don't have to worry about it being broken. But here is the dupe palette for Twilight and Dusk. And then the also Rose Gold Remastered has this pretty card. I think that's Huda herself on there. I used to watch her videos, but I haven't actually been watching many videos lately. I don't have time. I don't have time between work and family and kids and activities and whatnot, but maybe one. I don't know. We'll see. So we've got the real Huda palette up here. The dupe is down here. And like one of the things that kind of underwhelmed me is if you can kind of tell in the Huda palette that these shimmer shades on top kind of sunk down and are concave. Why? And I went back onto the Sephora website after, and there were actually quite a few reviews that were like, did I get sent an old product? Why did the shadow collapse? I mean, my husband looked at it and he's like, it looks like somebody's already been sticking their fingers in it. Like it's dented in, like what the heck? I'm like, I don't know. I don't think so. I think it just kind of settled. But, and I got to thinking about it and it's like, that's really weird. It's really weird. Yes, I know I probably really should not be drinking coffee at like 5:30 at night, but I wanted coffee. Okay, so we need to now start slapping some makeup on our face because we're 14 minutes in and haven't done anything other than prime and jabber. So I think I was going to do one of the Obsessions palettes as the comparison today, and instead I think I'm going to do the one that I was just complaining about, of the Rose Gold Remastered palette. And we're going to see how that goes, mainly because I've got a bunch of shades in there that I haven't tried yet. So, I mean, and the ones that have, I mean, it's okay. It's obvious. It's not $65 worth. Okay, it's not. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So I'm going to be using my Wayne Goss brushes, and I'm just going to clean them off between the shadows every time because I want to give them, the dupe compared to the real thing, the best possible chance at it working out the same. I'm going to go in with Blazing in the dupe palette because that looks like it's the closest to Sandalwood in the real one. So let's just see how this goes. Okay, so that one went on okay. It's actually pretty close to my own skin tone, so now we're gonna dip into Sandalwood and see how that goes. Oh, they look pretty similar both in this mirror and in the monitor. I'm trying to tell because this is the real side and then this is the dupe. And for the shimmery lid shade, I'm trying to tell which one's probably going to be the closest. You know what? I think we're going to go with Dubai and Desert Sand. So Desert Sand is the one in the dupe palette because what the heck, why not? It does look like I got a lot better pigment out of the Huda than the dupe, which I guess is to be expected. So I'm gonna clean off the brush and go back into Desert Sand and see if I can't bring that intensity up to the same level, because what we want to see is if we can get the same look out of both. So that way, if you wanted to try the dupe palette before spending the money on the real thing, you know, you can see at a much lower price point if, you know, the colors look good on you, if you like them, whatever, just kind of looks like, be aware that the pigment is not as intense in the dupe as what it is in the real thing, which you would kind of expect, but not always the case. Well, it's closer. It does look like there's more gold reflect in the dupe one than what there is in the Huda. So the Huda is still coming out as darker, but I mean, it's still very, very similar. So like I said earlier, if you want to give it a shot and see if the color scheme works for you, if you can get the looks that you want out of it, you know, so far so good with the dupe, because I have tried, I think, it for work as well. It's good. Sorry, I need to drink my coffee. Okay, so for inner corner brow bone highlight, I think that, like I said, I think the closest we're gonna get is Retrograde and Moon Dust, because I think maybe the OUD is probably closest to Bubbly, but I want Retrograde and Moon Dust, so I'm gonna do those. Okay, now outer corner, I think I'm gonna go in with Nefertiti and Cocoa. So outer corner on the dupe side is Nefertiti and Cocoa on the Huda side. Much more pigment on the Huda. And then this is just a clean blending brush that I'll use to obviously blend out things in the crease and up over here where my brow bone kind of gets in the way. So this is the eyeshadow look so far. Like I said, I'm gonna turn off to prime because all the primers that I have over here are Tarte and they were not purchased off of Wish. They are not dupes, they're the real thing. I'm gonna be using the Tarte Poreless Primer and my usual Ulta Beauty under eye primer, and then I'm also going to be using the Tarte Shape Tape Pore and Prime Balm for those large pores that I have, and this is kind of puttyish. So I'm gonna pause this and I'll be right back in a second. Okay, so I am now primed and I'm going to dip into the Bye Bye Redness, the It Cosmetics Bye Bye Redness that I got off of Wish. I do not have a stateside purchased copy of this, so I don't know, I don't have anything to compare it to. I have used this several times, and here's what it looks like in the little jar. So it's not like the usual like green stuff that you would see used for getting rid of redness. It's almost a little bit like a really creamy kind of concealer almost. I'm gonna dip a little Q-tip into it because if you have experience with the real stuff of this, or like one that you have purchased yourself here, not one off of Wish, you know, leave a comment for me below. Let me know if what you observe from this, if it's the same stuff as what you have, and if it is, then, you know, me personally, I like this stuff. A little teeny tiny little bit goes a long way. So like I just took a little dab off of the what's on the lid on that Q-tip that I used to clean off the wrong eyeshadow. Let's see if I can get this to focus in on the Q-tip, not on my hand. So you can see I just have a, I don't think it's gonna focus in, but I just have a tiny little dot, and you're gonna see that this is just gonna be, it covers everything. Every sin you could think of. Because I wanna get this little red spot covered up. And then I just blend that on with the finger. And yeah, you can still see a little bit, but it's about to have foundation over the top of it as well. So, yep, just that one little dab. And I will sometimes go for the red areas around the nose and whatnot, just for giggles. Usually the foundation does it, but since we're going to be using a foundation from Wish today as well, who knows? And we want to make it look as good as we can. You know, give it the fairest shot. Which is why I also use, like, you know, regular primers as well. Yeah, see that one little couple little dots there. You could probably actually, if you wanted to have like a no makeup look, use this stuff to cover your troublesome areas. Just blend it out really well. And then just take off for the day. It is very lightly perfumed. It almost kind of smells like Old Lady. So if you're not into scents, you're probably not gonna like it. But you can't really, after a little bit, you can't really smell it anymore. So that's a bonus. So as you can tell, it doesn't completely cover the redness, but I didn't use a whole lot just because I know I'm going to be putting foundation on over the top of it. Anyway, so like I was saying, it doesn't completely cover the red areas. It can if you want to put more on there, but I'm going to be putting foundation over the top of it and powders and all the rest of this stuff, and I don't want to gunk up my face too much. So the foundation that we're going to be using today is called Phoera? I don't know. Here, this is the little bottle. And I did get this off of Wish. And this is in the shade 102 Nude. Looks like it might be a little light, but that's okay. We've got bronzer. It did come in the little box. And it says up to 24-hour matte without the flat. Airlight texture finish, hides imperfections for a smooth complexion. Oil-free and silicone-free formula gives you flawless full coverage, reduces the appearance of lines and wrinkles. Available in various shades ranging from light to deep. The directs, not the directions. I don't know if this is really tiny, so I don't know if this is going to show up or not. Oh yeah, there we go. The directs, always shake before use to activate. Okay. It does have a pump to it. Hopefully the pump doesn't break. So you pump foundation onto the back of your hand. Start with one pump for medium coverage and build to full coverage with a second pump if desired. Pick up the foundation with your brush, starting in the center of face, working outward. Blend onto skin using short downward strokes. Blend well into the jawline and hairline to ensure an even appearance that looks like skin, not makeup. And it looks like this is actually water-based. So the primer that I used, that poreless primer from Tarte, is actually a silicone primer, so that might not work out so well. But we're committed now. So this does come in a full 1 ounce or 30 mils. The box does say that it is good for 12 months and that it is cruelty-free, which is interesting since it's coming out of China. And it says distributed by Phoera, whatever cosmetics, Albany, New York, USA. They do have a website, just the name, phoeracosmetics.com. I'll put that in a subtitle down here if you wanted to go look at it. This is made in the People's Republic of China and designed in the USA, according to the box. I'm going to use my Juno & Company Rosé sponge today, and I'm not going to pump it onto my hand. I don't want to make a mess. I'm going to use my little paddle like I always do, and like I said, just hope that the pump doesn't break. Oh, and it looks like it's one of those, like, this way it is locked so you can't make a mess if you wanted to take it traveling, and then you just twist it to be able to actually pump the product out. Oh, this stuff is thick. Okay, so let's hold it up here. As you can tell, it's not runny at all. That's pretty thick. So let's see how this goes. Well, I think it is actually a fairly decent shade match, which is impressive since, you know, it's Wish. So the formula is pretty thick. As you could probably see there, I did have to put more on this side, but that's not unusual. Like, looks okay so far. Obviously, I've not set it yet. It is settling in those trouble areas. So Not sure about those claims about naturally flawless or not. I mean, you can see my pores, wrinkles, all that stuff. So we'll kind of see. I'm going to be shooting some other videos today, and we'll just see how it performs throughout the day. I might like throw in some check-ins. We'll see how that goes. Hopefully my camera and mic and everything actually cooperates. But then, let's see, the next step in the process is always the concealer. So I have brought over, this is my Tarte Shape Tape Concealer in Fairlight Neutral that I got at Ulta. And then here is the Tarte, look at, oh, that's so much darker, that I got off of Wish. I had ordered the closest one that I could come up with, which here's the box. I know this is way different looking box than, I don't have, do I have? I do actually have one, but I didn't bring it over here. But anyway, so this was the box that it came in from Wish, and on the box says light medium, but on the tube itself it says medium. I am not a medium, not by any stretch of the imagination. So my under eyes are gonna look pretty funny. Oh, for the setting powder today, because again, at first I was gonna do the Tarte Raindrop Foundation, you know, the one with the dropper. So I had brought over a bunch of Tarte stuff. So the setting powder today, instead of the usual Coty Airspun, I'm going to use the Shape Tape setting powder. So should be interesting. We'll be setting Shape Tape with Shape Tape. I'm going to see if I can use the same sponge. Usually I use, lately what I've been doing is doing one eye, turning it around, getting the setting powder on it, setting it, and then the other eye. But I also only have one sponge. Should be okay, because the product goes directly on the face. Dropping things. Wish me luck. No pun intended there, by the way. So it comes out rather goopy. Like the thing stopper on the inside doesn't clean off the applicator like it ought to. And it's like orange. I'm probably gonna end up going over the top of it with the Bare Minerals Summer Bisque anyway, so it is what it is. Okay, and then this one's probably actually too light. So here's another thing, is that, I mean, you already saw that the packaging was different on both. This is taller and thinner, this is shorter and fatter. This has the big, this is the one that I purchased from Ulta, so this has the regular doe foot applicator like we're used to, that's gigantic. And then this one has a much smaller applicator. So let's see if we can get these up here side by side without them really touching. So legitimate one from Ulta, and then the one from Wish, much smaller, skinnier. Packaging feels a lot cheaper. The stopper thing inside that takes off the excess product off the wand is apparently non-existent. But the finish on it is okay so far, other than it being absolutely the wrong color. For me anyway, it'll be somebody's color. And so far it's, you know, performing just like the regular Shape Tape. It's not creasing too much. It's doing pretty good. So let's get the other side on and get moving on with this video some more. Way different. Way different on Obviously the color. Thank you, Wish. You make me look like I got a black eye. Awesome. Kind of reminds me of the eyebrows. I may end up doing that first impression on the Tarte foundation after all, because I'm not going to be able to continue with this. I really can't. So I'm going to pause this here for a second. I'm going to do off camera bronzer, blush, highlight, eyebrows. I'm going to finish up. Basically, I'm just going to do the rest of my face off camera, and then I'll be back and we'll talk about the products a little bit more. So see you in a second. Okay, so as you can tell, I've got the rest of everything on, and just wanted to finish up and do kind of like final thoughts on a lot of it. As you can tell, you know, I had used the dupe for the eyeshadow palette before, so I knew that I liked it. This is the first time I've actually directly compared it to the real thing, and I think it is actually giving me, while not exactly the same, it's close. It's close. You can get the idea, like I was saying earlier, if you would like the shades, the tones, the looks that you can get from them, you can absolutely get that from the palette. I found these palettes also available on Amazon. So if you don't want to wait the 2 to 6 weeks to get them from Wish, you can get them from Amazon. I did not compare the price though. What I might do is look that up when I'm done and just put it in the description box below. The foundation, I like the foundation. I'm very pleased at the match for my color, my undertone. I think it actually, I did good. But I'm not flawless. I'm not gonna be flawless. I'm gonna be 47 in like 2.5 weeks. So, but it looks good. It's got a good finish to it. It's not sitting weird on my skin. It handled itself well with the rest of the powders going on over the top. I'm pretty aggressive when I'm blending stuff out because, you know, I tend to get a little bit too much pigment on there, and then I gotta go in with my beauty pie and kind of scrub everything out and blend it all in. And it didn't move or smudge or anything. You know, my spot over here is poking through, but it's, as you could tell from the beginning of the video, it's pretty dark, and I might put some more Bare Minerals Summer Bisque on top of it. I just haven't yet. The obviously color on the concealer, completely wrong for me. I did go over the top of it with the Bare Minerals Summer Bisque, so it's a little closer in color now to my regular stuff, but still not quite the same. It's fine. Whatever. Let me see if I can grab my remote and zoom you guys in for a closer look, because while the color is completely wrong, the finish is actually really good. So if it is a good color match for you, might want to give it a shot. The wand is smaller. Mine doesn't have either that stopper thingy or whatever that cleans off the product off the applicator, so I don't know if it's just a defective product, because I got a Clinique foundation that had a big doe foot applicator to it as well that I purchased from Ulta that also didn't have that cleaner stopper thingy. I have no idea what it's called. So when you would pull out the wand, it was just this big gloopy mess. I don't have it anymore, otherwise I would bring it over and show it to you, because I, again, gave it to one of my daughters, because not only was it messy, but it was completely the wrong shade for me, and it was too late for me to return it. So hey, it's still Clinique, it's still a good product. somebody else can use it. But anyway, I digress again. So we're gonna try to get up closer here so that you can see. Now on the monitor it looks pretty grainy, but you can see obviously this was the one from Wish. It's darker. This is the one from Ulta, much lighter, and over the top of it with the Bare Minerals bisque, but it's not settling too badly into my creepy fine lines. I don't know if you'll be able to tell on the camera over here, but my eyelashes over here have decided to braid themselves together and I can't get them to stop. It's just going to be one of those days, I think. But you can also now see a close-up of the eyeshadow, kind of see how that compares. The Huda Beauty side, you can tell the inner corner, it's a lot more gold, it's a lot more pigmented and a lot more glittery than the dupe side, but again, it's close. It's very close. You can at least get a feel for it and see if you want to spend the $65 on the real thing or not, or have a palette that you can take traveling, that if it gets left behind or broken or whatever, it's not going to break your heart. And it's not going to break the bank to replace it. So there's that. Like I said, with this stuff, I've been using it for a while. I'd never found any reason to incorporate it into a video before, but you know, today was as good as any with that, you know, owie on the side of my head. And like I said, I like it. I do not have anything to compare it to. If you have experience with it, leave me a comment below. Let me know if it looks the same, applies the same as one that you have purchased stateside or, you know, in your local country if you are not from the US. And just kind of let me know your experience with it. That would be a huge help to me, because with as little as it takes to buy or to use, I don't want to buy a regular, you know, priced one here and have it go bad before I can even attempt to use it, because I've got a lot of stuff that's probably going to happen, just gonna go bad, because I've only got one face and I buy way too much makeup. It's definitely a problem. Anyway, so while everything was paused and I was putting the rest of my face on, I did go over and grab my other Tarte Shape Tape box. So just like the product itself, this is the legitimate one, this is the one from Wish. The logo is the same, Tarte's the same, but obviously the box is taller because the product is taller. You know, it's got this stuff on the side, whereas, you know, this one here does not. It's got the list of this stuff, like the shea butter, sunflower. I wonder if that's what that stuff is on the other side. It's probably pictures of those things. Maybe. You know, cruelty-free. And the one that I got at Ulta, come on, just has the cruelty-free. Doesn't have the list. And I think every time I've purchased Shape Tape at Ulta, the box looks like this. So if you've been using it longer than I have, if you've got experience with it, is this just an older, discontinued style or what? But it seems to be performing exactly the same, even though obviously the wrong color. Everything else that I used today was just like my regular stuff. I'll list everything down below like I normally do, but you know, so far, like I said, I like the finish on the foundation. It's doing quite well, and if you want to give it a shot, if you can find your shade, go for it. If you are similar shade to me, because I do always list my makeup and the shades in the description box. You know, you can go look at my prior videos, look at the description boxes on there to see what shades it is that I use, and if this one is a good one, obviously I will put this shade in the description as well, so you would know which one to get. Otherwise, hopefully, you know, just through your own powers of, that looks about right, that you can find one for you if you want to give it a shot, because I mean, okay, it's doing okay. And it's, let me see up close, it's actually, since I've set it, it's not settling too bad into those smile lines. We'll see how the day progresses. I have several more videos that I need to shoot. I'm doing laundry, so I'm going to be up and down and up and down. I may do some check-ins and see how that goes, but for now then, actually yeah, I think that's what I'll do. So for now, I'm gonna sign off of this one, and I will see you soon. And I'm back. So I have shot several more videos. It is now, looks like to be about 10 minutes to 9. I want to say I put this foundation on around like 4:30, 5 o'clock. So we're about, you know, 3 or 4 hours in, and let's just kind of zoom in and see how things are going. And oh yeah, does it really kind of, it is settling in those smile lines around here, but again, every single foundation does, and it's actually not as bad as most. Still looks like it's probably, you know, I get oily around here, it's breaking down around here. I've had to, my nose has been itching, so it's kind of worn off there, but that's not the foundation's fault, that's me. You know, you can still kind of see my owie over here. It's settled into the deep ones up on my forehead. And how's that? I mean, the Tarte Shape Tape from Wish is also still too dark, but it's hanging in there. It's not settling into those fine lines, wrinkles. You can see how it's comparing on both sides. I do have a deeper wrinkle over here than I do over here. These are mostly just the little crepey lines. So nothing that a little bit of touch up as far as settling around here will go. This is fine. It is what it is. Like I said, I'm going to be 47 in 2.5 weeks. I am not going to be flawless. I've got mature skin. It's what happens as we get older. And I'm grateful that I have the opportunity to do so in a fairly healthy manner. So that's it. That concludes this video for makeup from Wish. A little bit of comparison with, you know, real products versus, you know, dupes, and hopefully it's an informative video. If you like the video, please like the video. If you like me, please subscribe to my channel, and I hope to see you all again soon in another video. Bye!